Well, hello everybody and greetings and welcome back to MLA Kitchen. We have a very special episode in store today because of course it is the holiday season and there is nothing more that says the holiday season than the house smelling of freshly baked cookies. At least that is the traditions that we have over here in the US. And I am so excited to get to share some of our Christmas traditions with all of my friends around the world. So let's go ahead and get started with today's recipe. We're going to be making a classic Christmas cookie that I grew up with in the US. Now, there are Christmas cookies and traditions from all around the world, and probably some of the best cookies I've ever had have actually come from Europe and have come from Italy and have come from Germany. So I was really trying to find a recipe that was going to be a particular one that is not one that's copied from a European recipe or something like that, but is really truly an American Christmas cookie. And I think I found the perfect recipe for us to be able to prepare today. And these are going to be called peanut butter Bliss cookies. And they are wonderful cookies for the holidays. And they feature these, which is an American tradition. These, of course, is the famous Hershey Kiss. So the Hershey Kisses, they look like little bells. They are made by the Hershey Candy Company in Hershey, Pennsylvania. That is only about 35 minutes away from my house in Baltimore, Maryland. So it's just up into Pennsylvania, across from Maryland. And they are a traditional candy. Now, typically, when you get a Hershey Kiss during the year, they always come in this silver wrapper. That is a traditional Hershey's Kiss. But in Christmas time, they bring them in all the different Christmas color wrappers. So you get them in red, you get them in green. And just like every other candy company, they come in all different varieties now. You can find them in white chocolate and dark chocolate. You can find them filled with things. But the traditional Hershey Kiss is just a solid milk chocolate drop made out of this beautiful Hershey's chocolate. It's absolutely delicious, and it's really fantastic. Now, I think you can find these in Italy if you look into your supermarkets and your candy stores. But if you can't find these, you can substitute any other type of candy. You can substitute even like the traditional Italian kiss, like the bacchi, like you can do one of those. It's just a drop inside of the cookie. So let's go ahead and let's get started by making our cookie dough today. Now, don't forget that I'm gonna give you all of the measurements and all of the instructions from today's recipe at the end of the webinar. So don't worry about trying to write all down all the ingredients that we're gonna have today. But let's start with our dry ingredients. So I've already gone ahead and I've gotten 1 3/4 cup of regular all-purpose flour inside of my bowl. And to that, I'm just going to add, it's gonna be, gonna be a teaspoon of baking soda is gonna go inside of here, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of just a regular kosher salt can go right inside of my flour. And I'm just gonna give this just a quick stir, just to make sure that all of my baking soda and all of my salt is incorporated into my flour mixture. And once we have this done, we're gonna set this to the side, and now we're gonna start on the wet ingredients. Now, I like to do this inside of my stand mixer that I have on my countertop, but you can use a hand mixer, or you can just use a regular whisk or a wooden spoon if you really wanna get a workout and get big muscles just in time for the holidays. All right, so here we go. So let's put our wet ingredients together. And we're gonna start with the star of this cookie, and we're going to use, of course, an American classic. We're going to use peanut butter. You know, peanut butter is something that's synonymous, I think, with the United States. We use peanut butter a lot. It's very typical as a kid. You know, we eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. If you go to primary school in the US, everybody eats peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's pretty traditional. We use peanut butter in a lot of our desserts and a lot of our cooking. So peanut butter, I think it's a really, truly American ingredient. I prefer the creamy kind. You don't want to use chunky peanut butter for this. You want to use creamy, soft peanut butter. And I use this brand right here. You can go ahead and get that at the supermarket. And that's a 1/2 cup of the peanut butter for our recipe today. And I'm going to take that with a 1/2 cup of butter at room temperature. Okay, so room temperature butter for this particular recipe. So 1 stick of butter or a half a cup right into our mixer. And we're gonna go ahead and get this started today. So we wanna mix the peanut butter and the butter together until it becomes really smooth. So it's gonna become a smooth consistency. It's gonna change the color a little bit. It's gonna become a little bit lighter. All right, while that's going inside of the mixer, just want to say hi to all of my friends. Thanks for writing me on the chat. I see there's people from Rome, there's people from Perugia, all different people on today's webinar. So happy holidays to all of my friends out there. All right, so this is looking pretty good. All right, so now we've got our peanut butter and our butter have come together. So it's a homogeneous mixture now. So you don't see the difference between the peanut butter and the butter. So right into this now, we're gonna take our sugars. So we're gonna use 2 different types of sugars for this, of course. I'm gonna use our cooking brown sugar, and we're gonna use our typical white sugar for this. So this is gonna be a half a cup of our brown sugar, and then we're going to do a 1/4 cup of our regular white sugar. We're gonna put this inside of our butter and our peanut butter. Let me raise this up to make it easier. All of our brown sugar goes inside. Perfect. And now we're gonna take this and we're going to cream this together. So same thing, we're gonna mix it together, but we call it creaming the butter and the sugar together. The idea is that you don't wanna see, again, any lumps of sugar. You wanna make sure the sugar is completely incorporated into the peanut butter and the butter. So you have one nice mixture. You're just gonna need about 15 to 20 seconds on high with your mixer. All right, this is looking pretty good. So let me take this over now so you guys get a close-up. You can see exactly what this looks like inside. All right, so there's our peanut butter, okay? Peanut butter and our things inside. You don't see any lumps from our sugar. So that's perfect. So let's come back here to our mixer. And now we have a few more ingredients that we're gonna add to this. We're gonna take 1 cracked egg, okay? So the whole egg, we don't need to separate this. So we wanna use both the yellow and the white of the egg. There we go. So let's give this a mix. Make sure that that egg gets inside. Lots of people writing me today on side of the chat, so make sure to come and say hello. Let me know where you're watching from today. Also, let me know if we have any of our junior MLA cooks that are watching today, so I can give you a special shout out for joining us on MLA Kitchen. And don't forget too, the recipe is gonna come out at the end of our webinar. So you get all of the ingredients and the full recipe by email from our office colleagues. All right, so here we go. The egg is inside. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract inside. Every good cookie has a little bit of vanilla extract, I think. And we're gonna use something a little bit unusual, 2 tablespoons of milk inside of the cookie dough. So 2 tablespoons of milk is gonna go inside of there. And we're again gonna mix this, let this come back together. All right, guys, let's take a look here at the chat. Lots of people on there from Rome, all different kinds of people. Thanks for joining us today for MLA Kitchen. All right, so we have our milk, we have our vanilla that's been incorporated. Now we're gonna come back and we're gonna get our flour mixture that we worked on. Again, this is 1 3/4 cup of regular all-purpose flour with just a little bit of salt and a little bit of baking soda inside. And I'm gonna put my mixer on the lowest speed, and I'm just gonna start to incorporate my flour into my wet ingredients, and we're gonna do it slowly, okay? So I like to use a little measuring cup, a small measuring cup, and I just like to take a little bit at a time, and I like to add it right into my mixer. This is gonna help it so it stays nice and smooth, it doesn't get too lumpy. It's looking pretty good. Once it kind of gets mixed all together, you keep adding it 1 little scoop at a time. Just a little bit left. Now in the meantime, I've already gone over to my oven, and I have my oven starting to get up to temperature. The temperature for today's ingredient is 375 degrees in Fahrenheit. So you're gonna have to do the conversion on your phone or ask Google, ask Siri how to convert that for you. All right, a little bit more of my flour here. So I want to take the rest of my mixture and I get the rest of that inside. All right, so there we go. We've got all of my baking soda, all of my flour, all of my salt inside of my mixture. It looks pretty good. So let's come take a look here. All right, we're going to scrape down the dough so it all gets into our bowl. All right. So these are going to be our peanut butter blossom bars. Here's our dough. Take a look at this. We've got all of our dough incorporated. So all of our peanut butter, all of our sugar, vanilla, egg, butter, everything is inside of here. All the good stuff is inside of our batter today. It's going to make a delicious cookie. So let's go ahead and let's start to kind of portion these out. So here's what we're going to do. Let me make some space and I'll show you the next step. I'm going to take one of my cookie sheets, and on side of your cookie sheet, you can either use one of those rubber mats, silicone mats, or you can put a piece of parchment paper down, a piece of baking paper. That's going to be good. And then what you want to do is you want to take a bowl of white sugar. So this is just regular white sugar. I've put it into a glass dish today. This is going to coat our cookies. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to take my cookie scoop. If you've seen me do recipes before, you know that I love a cookie scoop. I like all of my things to be a uniform size and a uniform shape. If you don't have a cookie scoop, you can use a gelato scoop. You can also use just a regular tablespoon. But you want about 1 tablespoon worth of the dough. So you put that in the scoop. And now you get it in your hand and you're gonna roll it into a ball. So you want these into a ball. Perfect ball. You don't want them to be flat. They're gonna flatten out when they go inside the oven. And once you have the ball made, you're gonna put it inside of your sugar and you're just gonna let it roll around inside of the sugar here until it gets coated. And now you're gonna take this cookie out and you're just gonna put it on your baking tray. So you're gonna keep doing this. Now this recipe that I'm giving you today makes about 30 cookies. So it's a really good recipe. You get more than 2 dozen of these little peanut butter cookies. So you're gonna keep going in here, you're gonna make these balls, you're gonna coat them inside of our sugar, and then you're gonna put them on a baking tray 2 inches apart. So you wanna give them some space because the cookies are obviously going to spread, okay, when they cook. So let me give one more here. All right, so one more here. Inside of my sugar mixture, let this roll around. I want to get it coated in sugar, wipe off the excess, put it on my baking sheet. All right, here you go. These are what they look like on side of the baking tray right now. So these are our little peanut butter dough balls rolled in sugar, okay, and they're on our baking sheet. Now, I'm gonna put these in the oven because we have to wait for these to come out before we can finish them. So we have 8 minutes for these to go ahead and cook inside of the oven. So while this is cooking inside of the oven, what you wanna do now is you wanna be able to take your Hershey's Kiss, okay, and you need to start unwrapping all of these Hershey Kisses. So you're gonna start, you pull the little flag, okay, off the top of that, and that opens up the foil. And then you're gonna get your little individual Hershey Kiss that's gonna come out of your wrapper, okay? And so you get that. So you want to take this time while the cookies are in the oven to get all of your little Hershey Kisses unwrapped. So you have a nice little bowl of your Hershey Kisses inside of here. Because what we do next is when the cookies come out of the oven and they're finished cooking, you immediately take one of our candies and you put them right inside of the cookie, and they kind of like explode a little bit. We can call them, here's a good English word, they poof up, they poof. P-O-O-F. They poof up, okay? And then you put the chocolate right in the middle. They're really fun. So go ahead and get all of your candies unwrapped and everything else. Now, I was telling you that this recipe is a particular recipe because it's made with these Hershey chocolates. And again, if you can find these Hershey chocolates, you can try substituting any other type of candy. Even though those little hazelnut Bacchi candies in Italy, I think would work really nice in this recipe. Because the hazelnut, the peanut butter, I think that's a great combination. But try to find those Hershey Kisses because that's what makes it a truly American Christmas cookie. Now, this is an important cookie because Christmas is all about traditions. And one of the traditions that we have with Hershey Kisses is it's a very famous candy company. and they have a Christmas commercial that has been running since 1989. Okay, so 1989, that's almost as old as I am. I'm a little bit older. I was born in the early 80s, but I remember when this commercial had come out on television. It's a great commercial, and I was able to find a commercial clip on the internet to be able to share with you guys today. This commercial still runs on American TV throughout the holidays. So everybody looks forward to seeing this commercial when it comes out for the holidays. And you really know that it's Christmas time when you see the Hershey's Kiss commercial. So here you go. I'm going to play for you the 1989 Hershey Kiss Christmas commercial. It's a fantastic commercial, and pay attention to the very end when you see the little Kiss have a reaction after a big solo moment. Here we go. Here's the commercial. Enjoy. All right. Well, now that might seem silly, but that is something that we all look forward to seeing on TV. It's a simple commercial, but what you see is those Hershey Kisses playing those bells, that "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" commercial, and it's fantastic. Hear it once again. And then at the end, you have the little Hershey Kiss that had that big solo at the end go, shoo. It was really fantastic. So there we go. That was the Hershey Kiss commercial. And let me see if I can get that to stop playing. There was a question coming in right now, is are we gonna send the full recipe? Of course, like always, we're gonna send out the full recipe at the end of today's webinar. Now, I have just 2 more minutes before those cookies come out of the oven. I would love to take some questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions? You can just raise your hand on the Zoom. I can unmute your microphone. We could certainly talk about Christmas traditions. I would love to know the type of Christmas cookies that you make with your families at home. And I would certainly like to know if there are any junior chefs with us today, any little kids cooking with us today with MLA Kitchen. Go ahead and raise your hand or write to us on the chat. I have 2 minutes before those cookies come out of the oven and we can finish up with today's recipe. And don't forget, I will be sending out this full recipe at the end of today's webinar. So let's see if we have any questions coming in. Everybody seems a little tired today. Once again, it's Friday, so I understand that. Maybe people are a little bit shy. Hope you guys liked our digital conference. You know, MLA last week produced our first ever MLA digital convention. We introduced to you our brand new Studio Vacanza programs for 2021. We are so excited as a company to be able to welcome our students and our group leaders back to our MLA centers all throughout the world. And we have really unique programs this year, making sure that everything is safe for our students. We have a whole rethink approach to our programs, making sure that you guys are going to get the best experiences, but are going to remain safe doing it. And the combination now of being able to take English preparation courses online and having your once-in-a-lifetime holidays, whether it's in the UK, Ireland, Canada, the United States, it's truly a great time to start to travel again. We have such positive news happening in the world right now with our great scientists that have come up with some vaccines, and we really have some positive outlook on what's going to happen for this coming summer. So if you haven't, make sure that you check out our new Studio Vacanza catalog at mlaworld.com. Join one of our webinars to learn a little bit more. Mary has a question. Mary was asking, what are the other traditional recipes for Christmas cookies? Well, again, a lot of recipes we've actually stolen from a lot of European countries, or we've borrowed from European countries. My family makes shortbread cookies. So shortbread is more of a traditional UK cookie. We also make a German sugar cookie, which is a really thin sugar cookie, you know, paper thin, and we use all different types of decorations on them. But the one that I love the most is my family makes a coconut macaroon. It's used with shredded coconuts, a little bit of sweetened condensed milk, and some other things. You make them, you bake them into the oven, and they have this like gooey, sweet coconut flavor. I'm assuming that it comes from somewhere like Hawaii, some like a tropical country that has these macaroons. But that's another good Christmas cookie that we make. My wife grew up with her family making a cookie from Oreo. And if you joined any of our MLA kitchens in the summertime as part of MLA Language Live, you would have seen we had this cookie where you crush up Oreo cookies, those black and white cookies that are famous here in America. We crush them up, we make them into a truffle. We dip those into white chocolate or dark chocolate, melted white chocolate, and then you roll them in some of the cookie crust. So it's almost like a truffle of Oreo, coated in chocolate, and then rolled in the crumb of the Oreo. That was my wife's favorite Christmas cookie growing up. So those are a couple of our traditional Christmas cookies that we've had, Mary. Thanks so much for your question. All right, guys, here we go. So we're just about to come out of the oven right now. So it's been 8 minutes. The cookies have been inside for 8 minutes. Now, what's a little bit unusual about this particular cookie too is that it is not going to be brown. Okay, so you're not going to see the brown color from this cookie. So here we go. Let's take our cookies out of the oven. So if you look right now at this cookie, you see that it's just poofed up. It's a beautiful, like, little brown ball, but it's not going to be like, it's not going to be brown and golden like you would expect from a cookie. And now the way that you finish these cookies is you just take our Hershey Kiss and you take it right into the center of the cookie. Now these then are going to melt the Hershey Kiss down. They're going to become so nice and gooey and soft. And as they harden, that's when they really take the shape. These are the peanut butter blossom cookies. So here you go. I've taken my Hershey Kisses. I've pushed them down into the middle of the cookie so they look just like that. And don't forget, like always, I always take care of you guys. I was making a batch of these last night with my wife, so you get to see the completed batch of cookie. So here are beautiful peanut butter blossom cookies that are made, a traditional American Christmas cookie right here. Beautiful cookie. It's got that little coating of sugar on the outside. It has that beautiful Hershey Kiss in the center of it. Once they've been sitting, the Hershey Kiss is kind of back to its solid form. But look how nice they look. They're absolutely delicious. If you like the flavor of peanut butter and you like chocolate, this is a absolutely perfect Christmas cookie for you. So there you go. This is our recipe for this. So don't forget, we're gonna send you guys the full recipe. You're gonna get all the ingredients and all of the steps. We're gonna send it to you by email for registering for today's webinar. So check your email box. We do have a question from Marta. So let me unmute Marta's microphone. And Marta, you can go ahead and ask your question. Hey, Marta, can you hear me? Hi, Marta, are you there? Greetings to Francesca. It's nice to see you too. Always happy to be back in my kitchen. All right, I don't think Marta has a question anymore, so we're there. Well, guys, once again, this has been another great episode of MLA Kitchen, a special for our Christmas holidays. I want to send the warmest holiday greetings to all of my friends around the world. I am wishing you health, safety, and prosperity for the rest of 2020 and for a great, prosperous new year in 2021. I hope you guys enjoy your holiday season and your holiday traditions with the ones that you love the most. Don't forget to come to MLAworld.com. Check out our brand new Studio Vacanza programs and catalog. We are ready and we are excited to welcome you back to our in-person programs starting next summer. So from my family to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, and a very happy new year to all of my friends around the world. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.